بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. الحمد لله رب العالمین و الصلاة والسلام علی سیدنا و شفیع ذنوبنا و حبیب قلوبنا ابو القاسم محمد و آله الطاهرین و صحبه المنتجبین. It is my pleasure to have such opportunity to attend international webinar in the name of the role of Hajj in resolving the challenges of Ummah, which is held by my dear brother and sisters in India. When we study Holy Quran, we will find there are a lot of verses about the ritual of Hajj. But one of the most famous ones is this one. وَأَذِّنْ فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا وَعَلَى كُلِّ ضَامِرٍ يَأْتِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ. It is the obligation of Hajj. Almighty Allah commanded Prophet Abraham, وَأَذِّنْ فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ, reclaim the people, invite the people to come to Hajj. They will come on their feet or by camel. Why? What is the purpose of Hajj? In the next verse, in the 28th verse of chapter of Hajj, it is mentioned, لِيَشْهَدُوا مَنَافَعَ لَهُمْ وَيَذْكُرُوا اسْمَ اللَّهِ فِي أَيَّامٍ مَعْلُومَاتٍ عَلَى مَا رَزَقَهُم مِّن بَهِيمَةِ الْأَنْعَامِ. The purpose is to witness the benefits of Hajj. And the second purpose is to mention the name of Almighty Allah over livestock. Here we find that the benefits which is mentioned in this verse, مَنَافَعَ لَهُمْ, is general. What are these benefits? We can find the answer in the narration of Ahlul Bayt. There is a companion of Imam Sadiq, Rabi ibn Khuthaym. He said, one day I saw Imam Sadiq. He was too ill. He cannot make the tawaf on his feet. So he were carried by the people and circled around the Kaaba. I asked him, why you suffer such a difficulty? And Imam Sadiq answered, إِنِّي سَمِعْتُ اللَّهَ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ يَقُولُ لِيَشْهَدُوا مَنَافَعَ لَهُمْ. Because I heard from Almighty Allah in Holy Quran, which Almighty Allah says, لِيَشْهَدُوا مَنَافَعَ لَهُمْ, because there are some benefits of Hajj and I want to get them. So this companion asked Imam Sadiq, مَنَافَعَ الدُّنْيَا وَمَنَافَعَ الْآخِرَةِ, these benefits go to this world or to the hereafter? And Imam Sadiq answered, Al-Kul, both of them. Here in our daily life as well, we can get the benefit of Hajj. There are many problems can be solved by making the Hajj as it is designed by Almighty Allah. The benefits of Hajj is general. We can divide them into two parts. One of them is personal aspect and the second is social aspect. In personal aspect, we get the impact of Hajj on individual pilgrims. Every person will be affected by Hajj because it is a worship. It is a ritual which will affect the human being. By changing the people, by reforming the people, we will change the society as well. But these benefits go to the society indirectly. But there are the second part which affect the society directly. In the first part, individual aspect of Hajj, we know, and in the narration it is mentioned, there is a very interesting narration which says that when a guy get the money from an awful way, an awful pass, an haram pass, he get the money, so go to Hajj and spends the money for Hajj. At the moment of Ihram, he says, Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, but the answer will be, La Labbaik wa la Sa'daik, your Hajj is rejected to you, it is not accepted. What does it mean? It means that when we make a Hajj, the money should be halal. If there is any problem in our money, if there is some economical problem with the others, with our people around us, we should solve it before going to Hajj. We should pay our debts or we should reach some agreement with the people who we owe them. And even more, not the money, even it is something very normal among the pilgrims. Before the Hajj, we go to our relatives or friends and we'll ask them to forgive us. We apologize them because sometimes we may bother them or even backbited them. So we go to them and ask their forgiveness. Imagine when the people in a society, each year there are a lot of them, solve their problems, among them economical problems or even the moral and ethical problems, and such a problems will be solved. So it will affect the society as well. The society is gathering of such a persons, and the person with much by purified people, by the people who have a better spiritual state, we will have a better society as well. But in the second part, which the Hajj will affect the society directly, we can find there are some benefits of Hajj, that they can solve our problems. One of the problems that nowadays Islamic Ummah is facing is economical problem. And it is interestingly in narration, it is the narration by Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Ridha, our 8th Imam. One of his companion, Muhammad ibn Sanan, asked him about the purpose of obligations, and one of them asked why the Hajj is made obligatory to the people, and Imam Riza explained. He said, Illatul Hajj al-wifadatu ila Allah ta'ala, started by personal aspect of Hajj, and at the rest it reached this point, وَمَنْفَعَةُ مَنْ فِي شَرْقِ الْأَرْضِ وَغَرْبِهَا وَمَنْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ مِمَّنْ يَحِجْ وَمِمَّنْ لَا يَحِجْ. The benefit of Hajj is something which goes to the people who live in the east or west, in continental and non-continental people, to the people who make the Hajj, I mean the pilgrims and non-pilgrims. All of them get the benefit of Hajj, and Hajj is useful and beneficial for all of them. And at the end he explains, من تاجر وجالب وباع ومشتر وكاسب. The benefit of Hajj, one of the benefits of Hajj is economical benefits. It goes to businessmen, to the sellers, to the people who buy, to the people who sell, and making a big market. If this market, I mean the market of Hajj, is with a very great turnover, economical turnover, can help the economical state of Islamic countries, if it is done among the Islamic countries. Unfortunately, nowadays, most of us buy the goods of the people who are not Muslims from non-Muslim countries. We imported goods that we buy in the Hajj. This market can help and can solve some economical problem of Islamic countries if we make a general marketing in the Hajj, but among the Muslim countries we can help Muslim weak countries in their economical state as well. In the second part, non-economical aspects as well, here it is interesting that it is mentioned in the narration by Imam Sadiq. He said, Almighty Allah designed the ritual of Hajj in the specific plan. فَجَعَلَ فِيهِ الْإِجْتِمَاعَ مِنَ الْمَشْرِقِ وَالْمَغْرِبِ. Almighty Allah said that the people, the pilgrims, should be at the same time, at the same point. So it made a gathering. This ijtima and society, this gathering happened. And the people, I mean pilgrims, come to Hajj from different parts of the world, from the east and west. فِيهِ الْإِجْتِمَاعَ مِنَ الْمَشْرِقِ وَالْمَغْرِبِ. But what is the benefit? What is the purpose of this gathering? لِيَتَعَارَفُوا. Because they are gathered there at that point, at that time, to know each other, to know more about each other. Nowadays we can get connected with each other, but this relationship is through the internet or through the mass media. It is not as to meet your brothers and sisters face to face and directly. When you see them, you can talk to them, you can get connected with them, you will learn about them. There are some problems that can be explained to the other people. We hear about the problem of our Muslim brothers in Myanmar, for example, but it differs when you see them by your eyewitness. You can see that they are suffering such a problem, and you can get their relationship with them at that point. So the Hajj is made and designed for the people, for the Muslim, لِيَتَعَارَفُوا, to get some news of each other, to know each other directly and face to face. It happens during the Hajj, and it can help us to negotiate our problems as well. Unfortunately, nowadays, sometimes this aspect of Hajj is neglected. Some people say that you came here to make a Hajj. Even sometime one of officials said to me that you are here as a pilgrim, so make a tawaf, say your prayer, and it is enough. I said I just talking with my brother beside me because he's from other country. They say no, it is not allowed because you are here just as a pilgrim. But here in this narration we find out that this gathering happened to people know each other more and better, and it is unfortunately nowadays neglected. We need to have some gathering there, some conferences by the people from different countries, by the ulama, by the professors. We need to make some gathering. There are just only a few gathering there, a very little, a few conferences there like what we have in Rabitatul Alam al-Islami, but we need some more connection between the people to talk with each other, to know each other, to make relationship, to connect it to each other, and to make a vast network of scholars, ulama, and such a thing. Why? لِيَتَعَارَفُوا, to know each other and to know about the problem of each other in different countries. If we have this, we can reach to the other point. So in the Hajj, we can solve some of our problems. You know, the mass media can offer us sometimes, unfortunately, the wrong and fake picture of the events. But in the Hajj, by facing the people, we can learn about their life and about their problem directly. And after that, after this ta'aruf and knowing each other, we can reach another state. It is the unity. In the Hajj, you know, all the people are in the same clothes. They are at the same point, at the same time. They are moving at the same direction. When you are circling around the Kaaba, it is not up to you how to circle around it. No, it is designed by Almighty Allah. I mean, at that point, you are not separated drops. You are making up a great ocean of Muslims and human being. You can move in the same direction, and this unity is beneficial of Hajj. This unity for Muslims happened there, from different countries, from different colors and skins, from different backgrounds, but all of them gathered there in the same clothes, in the same time, in the same purpose. They are making the same ritual as well. So this unity is made in Hajj, and it is mentioned by Almighty Allah, and in the narration we have it. This unity made. Why? Because we should solve the problem of Muslims. It is interesting that there is a narration which is narrated by Shia brothers and Sunni brothers. It is mentioned in Sahih al-Bukhari from the Sunnat brothers, and in Amali Sheikh Tusi from Shia brothers. It is said, "Man kana fi hajati akhi, kana Allahu fi hajatih." Who tried to help his brother, his Muslim brother, Almighty Allah will help him. Nowadays, we should help our brothers in different countries, and Hajj is the best place to have such a gathering and such a negotiation and to start such a help. And something more than this, we have in our narration that the Prophet said, "Man sami'a rajulan yunadi ya lal muslimin falam yajibhu falaysa bimuslim." When a Muslim hears some guy ask for help, and ask the Muslim to help him, فَلَمْ يُجِبْهُ, and he doesn't answer him, فَلَيْسَ بِمُسْلِمٍ, because he neglected his request, he is not a Muslim. Nowadays, we hear the people from Palestine, Myanmar, even non-Muslim, because it says, مَنْ سَمَعَ رَجُلًا يُنَادِي. It doesn't say, مَنْ سَمَعَ مُسْلِمًا يُنَادِي. This rescue is not just for Muslim. مَنْ سَمَعَ رَجُلًا يُنَادِي. Whoever is he asks for help. If you hear it and don't answer, don't fulfill his request, you are not a Muslim. We should do our responsibility in this field, and we should fulfill our duty in this field, and the best place for it is Hajj. So when we go to Hajj, We can solve the problem of Islamic Ummah by knowing each other, by talking and negotiation about the problems, by finding the best answers and solutions for such a problems, and by reaching a unity among the Muslims. And after that, inshallah, we will get the benefits of Hajj. And this is what we find in Holy Quran. لِيَشْهَدُوا مَنَافَعَ لَهُمْ. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.